showing up, now we're here. Yeah, the first step is showing up, hear them cheer. Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. We're blowing up, hear them cheer. If you never risk it, then you never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go. You gotta give it all you got, you gotta let it know. You are on another level, you are ruthless.
Well, as you can no doubt see, it's the day 3 of racing here in CASCAIS. It's a much lighter morning. We've got hot temperatures already, more than 30 degrees up the river in Lisbon. Out in the Atlantic, very cold, dense air. We've got lots of mist and fog around over at Caparroca and in the bay at Guinchot. So we're very much in a transition phase. We're waiting for the breeze to come in. We should get about 8 knots in the afternoon. It's the 4th of July, American Magic on the top of the table at the Rolex TP52 World Championship. But everyone pushing so hard from behind. A good result or 2 good results can make all the difference. We started off speaking today with the local hero here, Alvaro Marinho, 4 times Olympian for Portugal. And this is Alvaro. So Alvaro, how do you feel about your position in the regatta so far?
Well, yesterday we recovered a little bit, which is obviously very positive. And with the win on the last race, motivation are higher, let's say. We are still learning a lot. Every race it's a big learn for us. We keep pushing every minute to try to learn the most of the boat.
How important was winning or finishing on the podium at the last regatta? How important was that for the team?
Well, it's huge, obviously. Being the first time in the World Championship, Boss was very happy. I think the team did a great job in keeping the boat fast enough to make us, Cam and I, doing the call. So all good. It was obviously a very happy moment.
Tell us what it's like to say this is your home club. What does it mean to the club to have the 52 Super Series here and to have the Rolex TP52 World Championship?
Well, it's like I was saying to club's president yesterday, it's not just about sailing conditions here. It's also, my feeling is like the way the people welcome this class, which is the finest of sailing. And obviously, for us, or for me, racing here at the monohull CASCAIS is always a pleasure. Last time was back in 2007 World Championship for 70. And it's still, it's a great feeling combining such a high-level class World Championship in our hometown. Is just a big pleasure.
Now that you see the kids and the optimists, so they're excited as well.
Yes, I guess they are, and I have. There's a couple of international teams here as well for the Mirpuri event, and I've been talking with them a little bit in the morning, and they are happy to be here. Great conditions. Either they come a little more close to shore, less wind, or offshore, more wind. So it's great conditions for them, and also I guess the combination of having them here. Meanwhile, we are here. All these super sailors racing the TPs. I guess it's also for them a very, very pleasure moment.
You've sailed with many teams over the years. What characterises this team from your perspective?
I would say the passionate they are for sailing. At the same time, obviously, they try to bring all the expertise to the boat. So every day it's like we're going into details to try to learn. But I would say you can feel on board there's a lot of passion from especially the Italian group about sailing and about obviously trying to do better. And then when it comes a win like yesterday, they just go on fire after the finish line. So
you've basically got 2 groups, as it were. You've got the Italians and you've got the Americans who were on Interlodge before. Yeah,
that's obviously a huge help for the team. Luke, Cam, Dave, Chris, we have been learning a lot from them, and obviously they are a key part of the team. Then combined with other talents as Albi and Champa on the trimming side, I would say so far has been a very, very solid group, and we have been learning each other a lot and try to put that into results.
What kind of oils the wheels, as it were, of the whole team? As you've got different nationalities, different cultures. What bonds the team kind of day to day and in the tough times?
Well, I guess also it's funny for the Americans to see how the Italians are playing, not just on board but also off the boat. And I guess that passion that I'm talking about, also we can see it at the field, and the funny stories are after sailing that they can bring into the team, and they're just driving us into that mode. Very happy family, I would say.
Where do you fit in as Portuguese then? Are you more American, more Italian?
I guess I'm more Italian. Last 5 years I have been working more with Italians, even though I'm still not very good in the Italian language. I'm trying, but I guess I'm more on the Italian side a little bit, yeah.
And you have a few Italian swear words, do we?
Well,
Best none.
best none. I know a few ones, but well, we keep it on board. The worst ones, which sometimes it needed to push everyone up and just keep focus for sailing.
Tell us what it was like growing up at this club then and sailing here. I say it's like one of the few yacht clubs in the world where you really have so much activity.
Yes, I mean, it has been great. I mean, all our life we have been sailing here through our Olympic campaigns, and lately also with the J70s, Dragons. I mean, the club is, I mean, they have so passionate in organizing these big events that they really care about all the small details that can do the difference. And for us, the conditions we have in the summer as well in the winter just make us being lucky to be here actually in CASCAIS and the club. The facilities in the club are fantastic, so we're very happy and lucky to be one of those that can afford being here.
There's always been a lineage, as it were, a legacy of 470 sailors from Portugal. Is that continuing?
It is still with Diogo Costa and Carolina. They are the latest members in the 470. They did Tokyo already, and no doubt Tokyo was still in the men's fleet, Diogo and brother. But then they did Paris, and they keep going now for Los Angeles. I guess the legacy that Hugo and Nuno, when they were bronze medalists, they bring into it with that bronze medal. I still think that this is still keeping alive the dream of the next one that will take them out of that legacy and start a new one. So happy moments.
So the Olympic goal, the Olympic ideals are really alive and well in CASCAIS.
They are, and especially Diogo and Carolina, they're pushing hard to make a step forward. Actually, they were fifth in Marseille, very close to podium, and I still truly believe that they can be one of the next medalists for Portugal in a class that means so much to me. So I'm hopefully for them.
A few words particularly about Cam. He's pretty special, isn't he?
He's fantastic. Working with Cam has been a really pleasure. He knows a lot about the boat, not just his boat, but all the experience he brings from other sailing classes. And has been obviously challenging for me because normally I'm tactician in a boat and bring strategy. I need still to adapt a little bit and see what he needs the most from me to help him. We are working on it, but so far it has been a real pleasure to work with him.
Now we're at the midpoint of the season. How do you feel you can finish up the season?
Well, we're not thinking too much in the season, to be honest. As I said before, we go day by day, race by race, bit by bit, because we have so much to learn out of the boat and out of the class that it doesn't allow us to think that forward. So we're just trying each day we go out of the dock to try to do our best, and that's our motivation for each day.
How does it feel to be the local hero?
Well, it's good, obviously. I feel a lot of support from a lot of friends that are still on the water. I have my phone to check my notes and weather forecast and all of that. Obviously, WhatsApp is always full of people, come on, go left, go right, and they are just cheering up and they sing. I mean, obviously, the images on live are amazing, and everyone...
The commentary is good.
The commentary is good. That Andy is doing a good job. So, and everyone is happy, obviously, to following. I'm also sharing a little bit with my friends what they can see it, and it has been really good.
And now the weather with James Line. James, talk to us about the weather today. It's light. They've got a big difference in temperature across the local area.
Yeah, I think, today we're going to get the local sea breeze. It's going to start in the river and move inshore to offshore, which is very different from the last 3 days when the breezes come in from offshore and moved inshore. So totally different game, very local sea breeze. Maybe it gets up to 8 to 13 after 3:30 in the afternoon. So probably different race course. Current will become more in play, and it'll be a whole new look.
Tell me, what information do you give to the teams in terms of weather and strategy? Does everybody get the same?
Yep, all the teams on the Quantum program get exactly the same little note from me before the racing about what I think about the racetrack, and so yep, everybody hears my thoughts on it.
So basically, when we saw three Quantum teams in the top three, then they'd done the right thing because James told them.
Well, probably not. They probably just ignore me and end up there.
Yeah, but they have the same basic strategy often.
Yeah. But that's, we're running off the same information. So, and we've talked about it in the morning together, and then we're talking about it on the water. So it's no shock that we're often in the same places on the race course.
What historic data do you have from here that you draw back on?
Well, we've got all our regattas here. I think for this one, we were looking back at 2016 as a first event, and we had 2020, 2018, 2022, 2019. So yeah, we look at all those, and we did a little study on it, and try and decide which way to go.
What about the 4th of July? Special for the Quantum team?
Oh yeah, Harry's got his Stars and Stripes socks on, and we're all missing a day at home, which is usually pretty good fun. Fireworks and barbecues.
Fireworks in the water?
We hope not.
And now look back to yesterday's highlights. Day 2 of the Rolex TP52 World Championships. Less wind today, big variations in terms of wind strength. Sledder at the top of the table. Paprec had a great race win yesterday, and American Magic chasing hard. Sparkling conditions for race number 3, breeze about 18-19 knots on the start line, still from around about 3:30 off the start line. American Magic get away nicely and lead up the first beat. Round the top mark, American Magic leading Phoenix. Pravet's around in a close 3rd place, Paprec in 4th. Down the first run will American Magic jibe off early and go out to the left. They actually make a big gain, as do Vayu. Vayu come back from 7th to 2nd through the leeward gate, chased by Phoenix, but through the finish line is a win for American Magic. Phoenix gets 2nd, and Vayu 3rd. American Magic take the lead in the Rolex TP52 World Championships. So the second race of the day, race 4, the breeze is actually slightly further to the left, 315 degrees. And what's interesting in this start line is American Magic stays 2nd row to be able to thread the needle through the fleet on port tack, and they get out to the right early, but Paprec also have a good start. Round the top mark was Paprec leading, Vayu get round 2nd, American Magic in 3rd, but down the first run, well actually it's Alcedo who go out to the right, find more wind pressure and a better wind angle, and they get through to lead at the leeward gate, and Alcedo go on to win race 4. Big win for the Italian team. Paprec gets 2nd, and in 3rd place American Magic extend their lead at the top of the table. And the standings for the Rolex TP52 World Championship after 4 races. American Magic Quantum Racing on 9 points, 3 points behind in 2nd are Paprec, and in 3rd Sled on 21 points. So there we go, the highlights of yesterday, and what a very different picture it was yesterday than to what we have today. You can see that we still have a little bit of sea mist rolling around, the cold temperatures out in the Atlantic meeting the warm temperatures up the river in Lisbon City. And we've had this mist hanging around for much of the day. So a quick look down at the leaderboard at the moment. It's American Magic, Quantum Racing, who have been super consistent so far. No score worse than 3rd, and they lead by 3 points ahead of Paprec, who've been very, very impressive. Really have been able to impose themselves with a 1st and a 2nd over the 4 races. They're only 3 points behind American Magic, and Sled. There's a 9-point gap now between 2nd and 3rd. But 9 points is really nothing, as we saw yesterday, where we saw the likes of Alcedo coming away with a race win. that elevated them up to fifth. They were in the bottom of the table, actually, I think, going into yesterday. Same too for Value. Value were low on the scoreboard yesterday in the morning, came away with a third and a fourth. So it just needs a good, consistent day. Otherwise, the scoreboard really is pretty tight from fourth down to 11th. Really, anything could happen. So Louise Vancer, I hope, is on the water. Louise has done a long wait for the breeze to fill in. It's looking a little bit better, even if the sun's not out, Louise.
Andy, yes, I am here on the water, and the sea fog is finally going away a little bit. I saw some blue sky, but not a lot yet. And I can still not see the upwind mark, so that's how foggy it is still out here. But that should not be a problem for the boat. So they have the data on their iPads, the navigator can guide them. So Gladiator asked for a little delay. That's why we will probably start at 4:05 local time. I think we will have a nice race, Andy. I'm quite confident that the wind will at least last for one race, maybe two. I'm positive. And it's so interesting because my parents, they live in Portugal, a bit south of here. And if you just go like 1 hour away or even half an hour away from CASCAIS, you have 36-degree blue sky. So it's a real bubble we have here in CASCAIS with the sea fog, and in Lisbon maybe as well a little bit. That makes it so difficult here for the wind to develop.
Anyway, it was interesting that James Lyne seemed to have the forecast more or less right in terms of the timing, but it looks like we should get a race away, a reward for the waiting this afternoon. Now then, very first thing this morning, it was a stunning morning over the peninsula here and around Cascais, and we took the chance to ride out to Cabo de Roca, which is the most western point of mainland Europe. It's a wonderful cycle ride, and we took the time to share the memories of a wonderful sailor who we lost in the winter. Mateo Aguadro was the legendary bowman on the Alegre. He was absolutely the linchpin, a super cyclist. He ran the peloton, and this is our memorial to Mateo. Very particular time for the Super Series, remembering a fantastic sailor and a wonderful human being. So then, Louise, there's one or two changes actually on board some of the boats today. Let's have a quick look through the lineup. Actually on Phoenix has been changed, so let's have a look at the new lineup on Phoenix. So you can see helmsman is Tony Norris. Now coming in as tactician is Nick Asher, who's well known to the circuit as formerly on Alegre. So he's come in to join the Phoenix lineup, partnering with Tom Burnham the strategist, Shane Elliott navigator, Lucas Chapman in the runners, Kyle Langford on the main, Morgan Trubovic on one of the trimmers along with Lorenzo Mazza, Guy Andine on the one of the grinders with Luke Payne, Matt Whitehead in the pit. Mid bow is Willie Beavis and Juanpa Marcos on the bow. So an interesting change there, Louise, on the Phoenix. How's that going to affect them today, do you think?
Definitely, Andy. I mean, that's an overnight change. I think that's very, very interesting. Imagine a soccer team would change their coach in the middle of the race. That's a bit how it feels like. But they had a great race yesterday and a not so good race as well, so quite up and down. I think if you bring in a new tactician, this is such a crucial position on such a big team. They first have to figure things out, they have to get in the groove together, so it will be very hard to get something out of the next 3 days, because the team has to give Nick Asher the chance to really show his potential and warm up a little bit, understand how the team is working, what are the principles of the team, before we can really understand if this was a gain or a loss for Team Phoenix. But if they do this overnight change, then they must strongly believe that Nick Asher will make a difference. So I'm very excited to see this team sailing today, Andy.
Indeed, so that's going to be fascinating to watch. The other change is on board the Platoon Aviation, which of course lost Doogie, the bowman, who was injured a couple of days ago. He did try to sail, I think, yesterday, but he's really his lower right leg is very, very immobilised. So new lineup today on Platoon Aviation. You'll see there on the bow then is now Paul Tingle, who's the sailmaker with the team, so he's standing in. Otherwise it's the same lineup, other than Marcus Wieser steering, Vasco Vascotto tactician, Jules Salter navigator, runners is Victor Marinho, Dirk de Ridder, Cheese is the main trimmer, Roscoe Halcrow trimming along with Javier de la Plaza, Gerd Harbenmüller is the grinder along with Andy Axelson, Jaro Forlani on the pit, and the mid-bow Mickey Muller. So a change there, Louise, for Platoon Aviation. Fortunately, it shouldn't be too much of a baptism of fire for Paul Tingle in relatively light to moderate conditions, Louise.
Andy, I'm very sorry for Doogie. It was very dramatic how he fell from that boat, and I'm sorry, but he's relatively good. I think he will recover from this, and I think it's the right decision that he's getting replaced today, so he can hopefully rest and feel better very soon. And Paul Tingle will have a double session day. Usually is his time to work is when the boats are back, so then he's repairing all the sails, making little adjustments, little changes, so there will be a very, very long day for Paul. Double session, first on the water and then off the water.
Well, hopefully there's no sail damage today. You would imagine there's a good chance there shouldn't be, but these teams, Louise, they're always making small minor adjustments to the sail profiles. It seems to be more and more the case with this fleet at this level.
Absolutely, Andy. I mean, these boats, they're really into the tiniest detail. Think about how big their mainsail is. And the other day, Paul Tingle, so the new bowman on Platoon Aviation, told me he was trying to get 1.5 millimeter out of draft, draft out of the sail. That's nothing, it feels like. So they really go into the smallest detail on these boats.
So in terms of the bowman, then what's the moments of real pressure then for them?
For me, I could never do this job. It's so shaky there in front of the boat, and you feel every movement in the rudder. You really have to hold on, and that's why it's also so easy to fall off the boat. Today, it's a bit choppy, but nothing in comparison what we had the other days from the sea state wisely. So it's a better day to stay on the boat today, but still, you really have to hold on all the time, body tension, and you're always packing kites, so you're down below, you're preparing all the sails, and you're helping in all the maneuvers, and especially in the pre-start you have a big importance in when the boat is crossing the line. So you will see the bowman in front on the bow and showing funny numbers with your fingers, because they're counting down the boat lengths to the starting line, so they help the tactician, strategist and helm to nail that start line on full speed, Andy.
Indeed, the bowmen always tell you that it's if it's a good start, it's down to the afterguard, and if it's a bad start, it's always down to the bowman. But the bowman really calls the final meters, the distance to the line, or certainly backs up the navigation software, which gives them really, really accurate data. So a little bit of pressure then on for Paul Tingle, but hopefully the Platoon Aviation team makes some allowances. But anyway, we're at 2.5 minutes or so to the start. How does it look up this first beat, Louise? We can see Terry Hutchison and Victor Diaz de Leon and Sarah Stone just talking about their thoughts.
Andy, I still can't see the upwind mark because it's so foggy, so the navigator have it on their iPads, but visually I can't see it, so I can't even say there's more wind on the left or there's more wind on the right. I've seen all the strategists like up in the mast trying to understand what's happening on this race course. I haven't been up in any mast, so I think from my perspective down here on the camera boat, I would try to win the start on one side and then try to win my side of the fleet. So is it the left group or is it the right group? And very interesting here for the start, later when we can see the race committee maybe a bit better, you can see that it's not aligned in wind direction because there is a lot of current. So the boat is kind of between wind direction and current direction. The current is actually pushing the boats. So we remember the first day we've sailed here inside the bay, we had 2 general records for the first start and also general record for the second start. Let's see if the boats can start on time and not over early this time, Andy.
Louise, a very, very quick question coming in from London Man on YouTube. He wants to know why do some teams have a strategist and a tactician? In a few words, we're at a minute to go, Louise.
A tactician is super busy on a boat, managing the team and managing the boat-on-boat interaction, and a strategist is responsible for the big picture and try to fill in where the tactician doesn't have time for. So tactician, small picture, strategist, big picture.
Indeed, well done. We've got 40 seconds to go. Sometimes it happens that also the tactician may be helping out manage or coach or give the fine details to the helmsman, leaving the strategist to step into the tactician's role. Just a little bit, it depends from boat to boat, depends on the experience of the owner drivers, but sometimes the setup. We're on board with Preveza momentarily. Teams trying to stay back from that line at 15 seconds to go, looking like Paprec coming into the line with speed, actually burning, scrubbing off just a little bit of speed. They've got a second to go, and so Paprec lying second on the table, make a nice start at the leeward end of the lineup at the pin end. American Magic seem to have got away really quite nicely. Sled just to windward of them. Platoon Aviation just a little bit of slow coming off the line. And in fact, Phoenix have made a really quite a nice start. Yeah, go on, Louise.
I'm a bit surprised about Paprec's start, to be honest. Like, they started the most to the left. For me, the left was not favored. I had difficulties measuring the line, but the right looked actually a lot better, like the race committee side, than the pin end, just from my visual understanding of the line. So I was very surprised that Paprec started like so far away from the other boats, so much space on the left side. Like, they seem very much not in touch with the fleet now. So when you want to control one side, then you have to be in touch with the boats, and now they're like out of control with the other boats. So that can be a difficult race for Paprec, maybe, Andy.
Indeed, American Magic though seem to be going best for the moment, just to windward of Phoenix. There's a better angle, or a good angle, just showing how Phoenix are eking out a few meters maybe. But it's very different conditions to what we've seen so far. Important to sail the conditions we have. It's much more gentle, and we can see that Alcedo Vitamina, after winning that race, really didn't get a good start at all. Platoon Aviation, one of the teams going out to the right.
It's definitely a completely different game today, like different things required. You have to be super finesse, head out of the boat. It's not just a one-way track. This race course, this is how I see it so far. So you really have to try to understand what the wind is doing, and you have to use every opportunity to position yourself to the boats, and you can do a couple of maneuvers as well. Like now, as there is relatively-ish flat sea state, they don't lose too much when they tack these boats, so they can tack on the shifts, they can tack and position themselves to other boats and use these opportunities to position themselves nicely and in front of the fleet. So very much different than what we've seen before, but I thought it was so interesting as well, Andy, that the last 4 races, each race another team won. So really, in this fleet here at the Rolex World Championship, any boat can win, and this is so exciting. So for now, I could not tell which boat will win this race.
No, but it's certainly, for the moment, it looks quite good for Phoenix, just stepping out to windward to maintain their clear lane. To leeward, actually, for me, Platoon Aviation looked quite good, but it seems maybe like there's a little bit more wind pressure on the left of the course, Louise, do you think?
I'm here on the left, I'm just on top of Paprick, and there is some nice breeze coming in here, 8 knots I would say, but it's so bad vision, like that I can't see the right side, you know, so it's so hazy that I can really just see what is happening in front of me here. And where I'm right now, it's beautiful, Andy. I can see a little bit of waves already, 10 knots maybe in a gust, so they will hit Paprick soon, just on top of them here. But I don't have a clue what's happening on the right side, because the water is grey, the sky is grey, everything is grey.
Indeed, there's looking now as Phoenix carry on just to windward of American Magic, sled in the match. I think maybe a little lefty, a little lift for the boats on the left, looking at Prevetz's angle. Value going quite well to the extreme right. They have the shared skills of Nick Rogers and Manu Weiler.
Wow, I love these onboard shots we have here at the moment on Team Value. Like, we saw the crew coming in, so they really had a lull. Like, there was no wind there at the moment, so they tried to don't push the boat too flat. And I'm here on top of Paprick, so on the completely other side on the left, and the full crew is completely hiking, so they have a lot more wind than Value on the right side.
Value looking okay on that side just now. Phoenix probably the best of the boats in the middle left. Looks like the
conditions we have here, I think, Andy, are really... Yeah, they're really like testing the skills of all the sailors. Imagine we go in both extreme directions. Now it's light or like just powered up enough for the crew to hike, and the other days we had like full breeze. So now the teams use their biggest sails. They want to have a flexible rig, so they don't use any chimps they put under the mast. They want to have it flexible so it can work with the waves and react. And the other days they would want to have a very stiff rig, so they would put all the chimps in they have. So very extremes here in CASCAIS, Andy.
Indeed, it's really this upwind is much more tense than the 4 races so far in this lighter breeze. Really hard to say what's going to happen.
I'm surprised by these drone shots we just saw that Prevetzer and Aikido actually changed sides. So they were on the right side, they were not happy there, so they came out here to the left side. Usually when you sail a race, you like kind of commit more or less to a side. You wouldn't see this side changes as we see here, so they might have seen something here on the left side that they want to come all the way here to the left. and don't give themselves a chance on the right anymore, because they started the most right boat, Andy.
Indeed. But for the meantime, Phoenix still continuing to lead. I think the afterguard just keeping their options open as much as possible. But in general, speeds seem to be fairly even all the way across the fleet.
Andy, when I'm watching the tracking, actually, there might be a little bit of a left shift. So I'm putting the long tail on, and that's really good to understand the shifts. And I can see Patrick just going maybe a little bit higher than Phoenix, and then American Magic below them, and also the opposite, Alcedo and Provetzer coming to the left side on starboard tack. They have to put their bow a little bit lower, like this is, you can see it quite nice on the tail there on the tracking. So we will see, maybe there will be a consistent left shift, Andy. We have to wait until the end.
Maybe a split breeze, you never know. There's still maybe the geographic bend on the inshore on the right side of the track, but for the moment it does look like this left side is paying off for the French team on Paprec. Interested to note how high they're sailing with the Traveller. Main sheet sheeted well to windward. Jean-Marie Doris there on the
so
runners.
The beat is 1.7 miles long. The beat is 1.7 miles long, Andy, and we have 6 to 10 knots max in a gust. So that's quite a long upwind, I feel, for these boats.
Well, let's see how this plays out for
wow, so from my perspective,
go on, Louise.
Yeah, from my perspective right now, Andy, Paprec and Phoenix might be almost untouchable. They're like in this pressure, left shifted, and the boats from the right side don't really get close to them. That's very interesting to see.
Meantime, the left seems to be working quite nicely as well for Alcedo. Alcedo have gone from 11th to 4th on this left side. On port approaching Gladiator. Gladiator will not, they won't cross Gladiator for the moment. So I think they're just a little duck behind. You could see Cameron Appleton just guiding Andrea Lacorte. So just going back to that question pre-start about the different strategists and tacticians. Strategist on that boat was Alvaro Marinho. He's a true strategist, and he'll switch into a little bit of tactical moments when Cameron's helping out the owner-driver Andrea. This is changing all the time. It looks like the left is coming in quite strong.
Yes, how interesting is this upwind? Andy, I'm now going a little bit faster to the upwind mark, and I will let you know once I'm there.
Indeed. Just watching how things switch between Paprec and Alcedo Vitamina. Paprec kind of getting in phase with the shifts. Alcedo digging back out to the left. American Magic struggling just a little bit. But it really is such a fascinating race. It would be on a completely different texture, completely different outlook, completely different game to yesterday. Just watching now as the American Magic and Preveza converge. Preveza, I think, will tack into the lee bow of American Magic. And American Magic respond with attack. Harry Nelgis there, the helmsman, with his Stars and Stripes socks on today. Patriotic day for Americans, 4th of July. It's interesting to see, Louise, in this lighter breeze, how the teams try to get a little bit more roll on the boat to get a little bit more momentum coming out of the attack. But in the meantime, it's looking good for Paprec and Phoenix. Say a really stunning recovery for the Italians on Alcedo Vitamina.
Andy, I'm at the upwind mark now and see the boats sailing towards me. And wow, what an upwind. Like, maybe you remember I told you, wow, what a side switch there by Alcedo and Gladiator coming from the most right to the most left. Very risky, but maybe that's the advantage when you have a local like Alvaro from Portugal on your boat, as Alcedo has it. You know, he might know something about this area here, about this venue the other teams don't really know, because that was a quite extreme move and it really was a good move for the Italian team. Very interesting.
In the meantime, Paprec tack to protect against Alcedo. Alcedo have to go behind. It's going to be super close between these top three. Paprec need to keep the boat moving. Just a little bit down speed actually in the end. Phoenix probably going slightly quicker. Can Phoenix get through Paprec to lead round this top mark? Phoenix, of course, the team who have changed tacticians in the middle of the regatta. Is Nick Asher working a certain magic? Now Paprec have the advantage of being on starboard as they approach the mark, but they're still maybe just a little bit under ley line. Louise, what do you think? It's going to be a little bit tight. Clearly a little bit of current.
Yeah. Yes, it's definitely tight, but the current is pushing. But we've seen yesterday already that Paprec likes tight ley lines. Oof. Oh my God. It's one of the special strengths, and there they go. Nice, Andy. They will make it.
So Paprec leading round the top mark, as indeed they did yesterday. Second race, I think, in the end. Then Phoenix also shooting the mark very slightly. Alcedo in third, Gladiator in fourth. Preveza looking like they'll get round in fifth. American Magic, Louise, very slow and a little bit stalled out momentarily. And in the end, American Magic and Alpha Plus tacking together. So American Magic getting round in sixth in the end. Alpha Plus are round next. At the first hoist, Paprec are away, leading by 14 seconds. Further back after Alpha Plus, we can see Allegre and Sled side by side.
Andy, so there was a big win there on the left side, especially for Gladiator and Aikido. What a comeback. They were close to Vayu and Platoon on the right side and then make this radical change to the left side. And if you look at the upwind mark, Vayu and Platoon still didn't round the upwind mark, whilst Paprick and Phoenix are already with their Janica up, flying downwind-ish, flying because there's not so much wind. But this is a big difference between both sides. I wonder why Paprick jibed. I'm not sure if I would have done that, Andy.
Interesting. Just a difference in opinions, difference in ideas. Paprick jibing early and going down to the left. The majority of the fleet following down to the right, led by Phoenix. So for the moment it seems to be a little bit of a loss to Paprick. Whether that will continue to be the case, I don't know. You kind of think, Louise, generally that the breeze is offshore and you'd try to use that as best as you could, but let's see whether Paprick can find something over there. Certainly in the foreground.
Andy, I'm a bit surprised because I would agree with you, you know, like the breeze should be a bit more offshore. And when you made these big gains on the left side on the upwind, why are you then driving to the other side on the downwind? Like, I'm more on Nick Asher's side here with Phoenix just continuing and then going with the fleet. So that's exactly what they do now. They furl their staysail to prepare an inside jibe with their Janica. But I think just to follow the fleet and make sure they don't get any special private local guster. But this will be a very interesting race until the finish, Andy.
Indeed, I was just saying the teams using much more in the way of kinetics, more roll through the manoeuvres. You saw that with Phoenix's jibe in particular. American Magic seemed to have quite a nice little puff, a nice little band of pressure, which I think they're jibing into. A little lift for them. So they're chasing Phoenix down. Terry Hutchison and Victor Diaz de Leon very much in the same mindset as Phoenix, I think. So there you could see if positions in this race stayed the same through the finish line, it would be American Magic Quantum Racing going into the penultimate day with a 4 points lead. Paprick only 4 points behind. Alcedo Vitamina 11 points behind Paprick. So this really is Paprick's best regatta ever. Obviously a long way to go in this race.
Wow, super nice.
We're only just on the first run, but the change seems to be good for Phoenix so far. Phoenix actually came really close.
Wow, this looks great, Andy.
Doesn't it? Phoenix came close to winning the World's title and indeed the Super Series title way back in 2021 in Palma, but lost their kite on a run, and that pretty much cost them the race and the title at the time. However, had that second place yesterday.
Speaking about strategist and tactician, Andy, we talked about it before. We have an interesting lineup there on Platoon Aviation, because in the past they sailed with a strategist, Jordi Calafat, supporting the tactician Vasco, and now they don't have a strategist anymore because they had a change with the helm as well. And then they had to refigure everything out a little bit with the crew weight. So now Vasco has the double role of a strategist and tactician, and I think Victor Marinho, the runner, is supporting Vasco a little bit as well with strategy. But that's how every team has a different dynamic, and how a strategist actually inputs or supports the tactician, or how the tactician also wants it. Like, different game as well on American Magic with Terry Hutchinson and Victor Diaz-de-Leon, but also on Vayu, where you have Manu and Nick Rogers, who are both tactician before on Vayu, and now Nick Rogers is strategist and Manu is the tactician. So there's always an interesting dynamic between these two.
Indeed, I think it's very much a case of working with two tacticians kind of situation with Manu and Nick Rogers. I think it's fairly dynamic, both supporting each other and constant dialogue, I guess. And interesting to see Don Whitcraft, as we said, back steering the Vayu. Hasn't steered a regatta, he's told us, since for 8 months, so a little bit of rust for him. Anyway, in the end, this is all working out nicely just now for Phoenix.
Yes, this was a big loss for Patrick, Andy, driving out there so early. And same, we had American Magic and Alpha Plus rounding the mark more or less together. Alpha Plus now in 9th position, American Magic maybe in 4th position if this stays like this. So that actually really shows for me that there is not a lot to gain on the side close to the shore, neither on the upwind nor on the downwind.
Indeed. Certainly it's not worked for Patrick so far, who in the end have lost probably 200 metres to Phoenix. In the meantime, American Magic just crossing behind. There we can just see them, as they crossing behind Alcedo and ahead of Patrick.
What a gain for American Magic there, and the American Magic rounded the mark, the upwind mark, like somewhere in 5th or 6th, as I said, just with Alpha Plus together. And now they were, now they were just behind Alcedo, like big gain for that team.
It's just sailing the shifts quite nicely, but meantime, all credit, I think, to Phoenix, picking the breeze lanes really nicely. But in the end, this fleet really spreading out quite a lot, over 700 metres between Phoenix and 11th place Allegri. And you'd imagine that Phoenix can kind of pick their own lanes going up this next beat, such as their lead. What would you imagine that Phoenix will do on this next upwind, Louise?
Well, I think they gained over the offshore side on the upwind, Andy. They gained on the offshore side on the downwind. So my guess would be that they would sail again to the offshore side on the second upwind. I think that's the plan. And from my perspective, they're almost on ley line already for the downwind gate. And then they will probably sail to the left side and try to protect their fleet, because the second upwind is a bit different than the first upwind. On the second upwind, you want to keep your position or improve your position much rather than managing, are you going over the left side or are you going over the right side? It's more about positioning actually than the upwind before.
Indeed, so Phoenix have the option. The American Magic moving really quite nicely down that left side. Nice angle in towards the Lower Gate. And Patrick jibing inside, or trying to get inside Alcedo. So we feel Phoenix will stay offshore. Having a windward mark change, Louise, by the sound of things. I can hear Race Officer Mario Torrijo talking to the fleet. Staysail comes down on Alcedo.
Stefan, we'll wait down here for our video. 1.3 distance change.
No direction change?
I didn't get it, sorry. I didn't hear it. Didn't hear direction.
So watching Phoenix leading, I think they're coming to this right-hand mark. Go on, Louise.
I've just heard that Maria shortened the course to 1.3 miles, as there's really not a lot of breeze, but I don't think she actually changed the windward mark direction, so we should still be on a bearing of 270.
So just as a reminder, we've been sailing in a breeze of 330, between 310, 315, 330 the first couple of days, the first 4 races. Now then, port starboard between Paprec and American Magic.
Hey! Hey!
American Magic taking time to respond, and Paprec will get down inside, and this could even open the door for Alcedo on the left.
Oh, Andy, there is a
Penalty to
penalty
Guato.
for American Magic. Disaster.
Penalty was for American Magic not keeping clear. He just did not respond quick enough to Paprec coming down inside them. Straight port starboard. What do you think of that, Louise?
Oh, Andy, it seemed to be the downwind for this American team on the American day, but now with the penalty, they made such a comeback, and now they're almost there where they started off at the upwind mark. That's painful, painful, painful. Like, I'm sure they saw the situation different than the jury, otherwise they wouldn't have pushed it so far, because there was no real reason why to push it so much after making this big gain. So I'm sure they saw the situation a bit different, as sailors always do, but wow, that's a little bit painful, Andy.
It is. They're going to get their penalty completed as quickly as possible. They dropped to 5th, coming out of their turns relatively slowly. But lost a couple of places for that. But in the end, almost the entire fleet going around this right-hand mark, looking upwind, only platoon going to the left. been Phoenix opening out a lead of I think it'll be probably closer to a minute just now. But looking at Alcedo in our foreground just now, Louise, they seem to have more wind pressure offshore. Fully powered up.
Yes, Andy, I'm just here leeward of Alcedo, and they're fully hiking, trying to sail this boat as fast as possible. Andrea Lacote really concentrated here, steering that boat on his target numbers, so he has the numbers on the mast. I think they have like 4 or 5 screens there on the mast with different numbers, and he will be chatting all the time with his mainsail trimmer Albi about the heel of the boat, the speed of the boat, and then gets additional input by the tactician and strategist about when they would tack or what is happening with the other boats. And now they go into their tack here, and I think this is a pretty good idea, because you don't want to lose the connection or the contact with the other boats. You want to stay in touch with them, because it's still not quite clear, Andy, here what is happening on the race course. It's not a one-way street, I would say, so you really want to stay in touch.
It's really not a one-way street at the moment. To me, Alcedo coming up this left flank with more wind pressure. And the last image is Phoenix looked a little bit slow, a little bit more upright in the middle of the course. But it's all to play for, really. Back on board with the Patrick, who also seem to be quite nicely powered up. In the end, it's a straight port starboard with Patrick just crossing in front. Wonder whether they'll tack on them. But at the moment, Phoenix are over 200 metres ahead of Paprec. Alcedo in the end, just behind. So what are Phoenix thinking at this moment then, Louise?
Andy, I hope Phoenix, everyone on board is smiling and having a great time, because they are sailing super good today. So if they are not having a happy day, I don't know what else they need.
Exactly.
Like, this is just great, you know, like starting off, sailing with the other boats, being in a good speed, having a left shift the other boats don't really have as left as they have, and then continuing downwind, following the other boats. Like, this is great sailing. This is so much fun. Different when you're more in the back of the fleet, don't understand the wind. Oh, what is it doing? What is it doing? No. Today we want to be on Phoenix, Andy.
We do. I wouldn't actually, though. Alcedo really did quite a nice job on that first upwind with a great recovery that got them back into the race. Remember, they were down in 11th at one point. Platoon aviation then we were working really hard. Victor Marinho on the runner there. Just chipping away, trying to take some more places as best he can.
They actually recovered already quite good on that downwind we just had. So if you think that Platoon Aviation rounded the upwind mark in 10s with quite a lot of meters, and now they're in 7s, they had a good comeback, like definitely recovered many meters.
They did, they're just chipping away, trying to make the best of their comeback. Next target is Prevezza. Prevezza in 6th. And Prevezza crossing Platoon Aviation, pretty close cross.
There we we see the runner really grinding hard there on the runner. These are actually one of the hardest conditions for the guys on the runners, because in any thing like stronger ones, they have the big grinders with the big biceps on the pedestal, helping them grinding up to 9 tons on the first day with these grinders, with the runners. But now the grinders are more in front of the boat for the weight distribution, so that's why the runners have to grind themselves on the winch. Not 9 tons, but still a lot. Like, it's actually really heavy to put so much tons there on the runners.
So can American Magic get back into the top 2, top 3 in this race? As Louise said, they'd worked so hard to get up there, and then that penalty port starboard with the Paprec. Paprec, a little bit American Magic's nemesis this week so far, Louise. They seem to be having little tussles, little battles from time to time.
Yes, usually we see this just between Platoon Aviation and American Magic, but maybe they found some new friends, Andy. Paprec and American Magic. I mean, we like that, you know? We saw it also yesterday on the second race, on the second upwind. Tag between these two boats. Proper fight. But they're first and second. That's at least how they went into the day. So we're midway in the championship, Andy. So you kind of maybe want to start looking out for your competitors.
That's right. I think as much as anything, I think the French are just so happy to have made the progress they have and to be fighting it out with the 7 times world champions. And it's really proving to be a fascinating world championship. Really, anything could happen. Just when you start to think that American Magic are stepping clear of the fleet, they get a penalty, and always in this fleet, anything can happen. But I'm sure the Tina Plattner and the Plattner family at home will be enjoying this lead that they have, or their team has, on Phoenix. How's the breeze at the moment then, Louise? It's staying pretty much the same, isn't it? Still about 8-9 knots at the most.
Andy, yes, I just arrived at the upwind mark, and I would say in the lights we maybe have like 6 knots, and in the gust a maximum of 10 knots. So quite up and down, and it's difficult to see the shifts from the camera boat, so I really look a lot on the tracking to understand the shifts. You can see it so well with the long tail, and I see a lot of different pressure and different shifts, so very localized actually. That's so difficult for the sailors then to understand, because they can't really see the pressure on the water. Everything is so grey, the water is grey, the air is grey, and then every boat is pointing a little bit different. So tricky day today, not easy at all, Andy.
Indeed. Now then, do we think that we'll just get the one race? It's 10-5 local time as Phoenix approaches the windward mark with a lead of 150-200 metres. What's your thoughts, Louise?
I hope so, Andy. I mean, there is light until 9 o'clock, so why shouldn't we race? But on the other side, it has been already a very long day, and it's tomorrow and the day after look very, very spicy forecast. So
Indeed.
Maybe we should give the sailors a little bit of rest to be even more prepared for the next 2 days. But on the other side, conditions are great, so we really have to see what Maria will decide. But I'm just here on top of Phoenix, Andy, and what a lead do they have? That's phenomenal. I'm very proud of Team Phoenix today. Like, I think I can see some smiles in their faces, Andy.
I certainly saw a big smile on Nick Asher's face, and considering what he's been through parting company with the Allegra programme after so many years. Not sure many people would have expected such a change to happen so quickly, but he's a super talented sailor. And he's on fire generally. He's just, as you said, Louise, I think they just won the RC44s. He's been top in the Swan 50s as well.
Oh, Andy, I'm here just in front of Patrick, and their kite is very, very much twisted.
Oh, dear,
this will slow down the team now a lot. You know, they now... Oh, yes, they're trying their best now, but there we go. Oof, they finally managed. But this is the chance now for Alcedo just behind them. They made a lot of meters good, so they will really now push toward the French team that will need to start accelerate. Let's see what will happen between these two boats.
Indeed, then Pravet's around in 5th, American Magic in 6th, which ironically is the position they rounded the weather mark first time up. These aerial shots, you can just see the breeze pulsing down the track a little bit. Platoon Aviation still in 7th, Sled 8th. What does that mean, Louise? Patrick's
Yeah.
Go on.
Interesting to see American Magic now here jiving out. Quite a lot of other boats are following as well. Like, you remember Alpha Plus was one of the boats going the furthest to the right side, and now they're in 11th place. They were 9th before, so they lost another 2 boats. I find it very interesting. I really like what Phoenix does, he just continuing, and also Alcedo, but maybe they know something, I don't know.
Maybe they do, but with a 200-metre lead, I mean, we've seen a 200-metre lead evaporate on the single run on this race course, albeit in the northwesterly breeze. This wind is from a completely different quadrant. So there we go. Fascinating then. Who would have thought Patrick could steal the thunder of the American Magic Quantum Racing team on the 4th of July. Independence Day. Big day at home. And Patrick are overshadowing them momentarily. Can American Magic pull back? Certainly Patrick can't afford to lose out to Alcedo down this run. It's very close between the two of them. Correspondingly, American Magic need to get through Pravets and take places. What a fascinating race, Louise, isn't it?
Absolutely, Andy. Up and down, like very difficult to spot pressure, very difficult to understand where the next shift is coming from. So you're all the time kind of like going forward in the misty environment here, like 2 steps forward and then sometimes 5 or 10 steps back, as it was the case for American Magic on the downwind before. But also Alcedo, for example, make 10 steps forward on the first upwind, so a lot up and down. This race is not finished until all the boats cross the finish line, Andy.
Indeed it's not, and Alcedo Vitamina giving chase to Paprec. It's only about 50 or 60 metres between them. It's going to be between the right and the left coming downwind. Increasingly this race looking like it will go the way of the South African team on Phoenix.
I also find it very interesting, Andy. So usually when there are shifts, you know, you can see it on the fleet. So or the fleet is on starboard jibe or on port jibe, you know, and then they more or less jibe at the same time. But now we really see like all the boats on different jibes. Some are on starboard jibe, some are on port jibe, on the left side of the course, on the right side of the course. So we get a very good impression, at least, what is happening on the race course, because the boats explore them, definitely. All the corners of it.
They do. And I think that the key thing, perhaps more than anything on this race course, in this point in the regatta, everyone's really attacking. There's no potential to defend and consolidate, really, simply because there seem to be such big losses and gains to be made from time to time. It's not really a race course for percentage sailing, Louise, is it?
No, it's a bit too, there's too much uncertainty, Andy. I really feel this is a day of big uncertainty today. Like we saw big gains, big loss, and you couldn't really see them before.
Yeah.
So, tricky day, Andy.
So that battle between Alcedo, Vitamina and Paprec, it's the Italian team leading for the moment. That means that American Magic will carry on holding their World Championship lead unless Paprec can get back through. There's only 12 or 15 metres between them in terms of distance to the finish line. It's going to be all about speed and angle. I think we can say this race is destined to go the way of Phoenix. But the match races between the Italian team and the French team.
Oh yes, Andy, and it's a bit like in the casino as well, to be honest. Like Alcedo went on red and Paprec went on black, you know, like two different sides on the race course. They're completely spread out. So it's hard to say, like, are they doing a better angle? Are they having more pressure? Because they're so far separated.
What do you think, Louise? Who's going to get there? Who's your money on?
Andy, such a good question. I really don't know.
You have to commit, Louise. You have to commit.
Tough run.
You can't sit on the fence.
I'm here leeward of Alcedo, so I'm going for the Italian team. I'm leeward of them. I can see more grey, more dark grey than light grey, so I go for Alcedo, Andy.
I'm going for Paprec. Allez les bleus. However, interesting, what a fabulous race we've had, considering it's a little bit grey and we expect sunshine and strong breezes. That's the brochure conditions for CASCAIS. Alcedo out on this right side, Paprec on the left, Gladiator trying to get round the outside of Paprec. All the time we tend to see the stronger breeze offshore here.
Interesting as well, Andy. So, oh look, okay, Alcedo just jibed. I wanted to say that it seems like that Paprec now starts to put the bow down, so they might really have a bit different wind than Alcedo on the side where I am. But this is so localized. This can change in the next 10 seconds again. Very interesting, Andy, until the end. But Paprec is not on the ley line for the finish yet, so they have to do another jibe if the wind stays like this. We don't know. There is still time to the finish, but they...
For sure, that left side not really working for American Magic. We're seeing them dropping to 8th, and that's really costly in the meantime for the overall World Championship, the overall regatta lead. Certainly for the moment swinging towards the French team. Never led regatta in the second half of an event, though they have, I think, been on the podium at intermediate stages of both regattas so far this season. Anyway, all eyes on the Phoenix team, who are closing down their first race win here in Cascais. Of course, they won the last race of 2024. Indeed, that was the last time they won a race. And of course, Phoenix won the last regatta of the season in Valencia. Oh, sorry, they finished third in the event, of course.
That's a very great result in general for Team Phoenix, but also with the challenge to have a new tactician on board today. I mean, pressure is on Nick Asher.
I think Nick's somebody who really relishes the pressure and seems to be able to respond. And I'm sure he did his time here in the days of in his 470 days. But the strange situation is he now has his crew from those days, Elliot Willis, still on board Allegra. So anyway, a win for Phoenix, for the South African team, from the Plattner team, with Nick Asher stepping on board for the first time today. And celebrations all round. Great result. And I think in the end, Pat Preck may be going to get second, Louise. This could be big.
Andy, it will be tight. It will be very tight. But in the end, they did not need to do another jibe. So they can just go in the finish like this. Oh, Andy.
Don't make me any more nervous. Anyway, Paprec get through, and I'm pretty sure we'll take the regatta, the World Championship lead. Goes to France for the meantime. Alcedo coming through in third. And what a gift for the owner of the Paprec programme, Jean-Luc Petit-Huguenin, and Gladiator going to get fourth. Solid result for them. Now then, what's going to happen with American Magic? That's a big question. Privetz are going to sneak in for fifth. Seems like the breeze has eased off just a little bit. American Magic keeping the bow down, pointing as directly as possible at the finish line without losing too much speed. Should just get in there for sixth, I'm thinking. So they get through for sixth, and it's going to be a very close seventh for Platoon Aviation, squeezing in at the finish for seventh. Eighth, Sled. Ninth, Vayu. So this race shakes up the leaderboard very nicely for a big finale over the weekend. Allegra get 10th. And Alpha Plus will come through for 11th position. So still pretty grey, but Paprec will be quietly very, very pleased with that race and indeed their position on the leaderboard. Alpha Plus come through the finish line in 11th, and jubilation as well for the Phoenix team as Alpha Plus come through the line. Then, Louise, what did Phoenix do right then?
Andy, they had a phenomenal good race. I mean, it was really nice. Like starting off on the left, having a good start, good speed, sailing over the left side, the wind shifted left. This was just nice, you know? Like when you're then on the Phoenix boat, you're very, very happy. Same for Paprec. Paprec was just a little bit more behind them and actually also started completely at the pennant. And then Phoenix all the time kept it simple. You know, they really tried to simplify the race. I think that was interesting to see how they continued always after the first upwind mark, waited a little bit for the fleet to figure out what the fleet wants to do, and then they reacted and stayed in control the entire race and extended their lead. Like very, very well said by Phoenix here.
Indeed, and Paprec then, same thing I think applies. He just kept cool under pressure, and who would have thought then the French team leading the Rolex TP52 World Championship at the midpoint. 5 of 10 races sailed, and they lead by a single point from American Magic Quantum Racing, the 7 times world champions. Alcedo Vitamina in third. They are the debutants this season on the podium in Galicia and back on the podium here so far, although they're only a single point clear of Sled. Phoenix up to 5th with 32 points, a point behind our Allegra in 6th on 33. 33 also for Gladiator, 34 for Value, 34 for Platoon Aviation, and 35 for Provezza. It's super, super close all the way through the table, other than that little gap between American Magic Quantum Racing and Alcedo Vitamina. Can the French start to think of at least finishing on the podium? Such are the points at the moment. What a fascinating race. Louise, do we think we're going to do a second race? What's your thoughts?
Andy, I saw the flag AP over A, so there will be no more racing today. Even more excited for a finale weekend. Oh my God, Saturday, Sunday, breezes on, spicy forecast, and 5 races to go. This can't be a better weekend, Andy.
It can't be a better weekend at all. Hopefully the sun is back tomorrow, but for sure the breeze is forecast. We should be interesting to see whether we can get 5 races in, whether we do 2 races a day. But all in all, CASCAIS really delivering on every front. We've had the strong wins. It's really great to just have a quieter race, a more tactical race, which really tests the brains as well as the muscles. Anyway, so do join us again tomorrow for the penultimate day of racing here at the Rolex TP52 World Championships.
Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. Yeah, the first step is showing up, hear them cheer. Yeah, the first step is showing up, now we're here. We're blowing up, hear them cheer. If you never risk it, then you never know. If it's holding you back, you gotta let it go. You gotta give it all you got, you gotta let them know. You are on another level, you are ruthless.
Here we go again, you think by now I know better. Locked in my head, romanticizing forever. Last love I found, knees met the ground and all my roses died. Swore I Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Dive in at first into all of it. Oh, what a rush looking into your eyes. Playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? My God, don't we look good together? I should be running away, but so what, whatever. Oh, last love I found, knees met the ground and all my roses died. Swore I was through, but looking at you, I think I changed my mind. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Dive in at first into all of it. Oh, what a rush looking into your eyes. Playing it off like it's different this time. Let's break our own hearts for the fun of it. One look and I'm dying to run the risk. I'll live in your head for the rest of your life. Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? Oh, won't you be my hopeless Valentine? You're a bad idea. Oh, but every time I see you, all reason and logic cut their losses. Yeah, let's fall in love for the fun of it. Dive in at first into all of it. Oh, what a rush looking into your eyes. Playing it off like it's different this time.